Remember, Donald, when you posted the following in response to some bizarre article from The Sun in the UK, which talked about King Charles made a, Donald, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney and King Charles are giving you the middle finger, and I'm not sure you fully realize how pathetic they think you are. Secret message to you about you could join the Commonwealth and the United States can be part of the Commonwealth, and then you embarrassingly responded on your social media platform.
Did Canada just take a page straight out of a spy novel? One symbolic move has Trump fuming, and it involves a king, a throne, and a spectacular checkmate you won't believe. Stay tuned to find out how Canada just sent a powerful message to its loud southern neighbor. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
He's giving the speech from the throne, the first time a monarch in the UK has delivered a speech from the throne since 1977. And I love King Charles. Sounds good to me! Exclamation point. You want the United States to be part of the Commonwealth? Oh, okay. Well, King Charles is now in Canada today. And as we previously reported, the reason this is going down is specifically and surgically to give you the middle finger, Donald Trump, and it is for Canada to say, bye-bye, United States of America. We are looking towards the Commonwealth nations.
Imagine this. You're Canada, peacefully minding your business, playing some hockey, eating poutine, and keeping the thermostat at wear a sweater inside levels. Suddenly, your downstairs neighbor starts shouting about turning you into, let's say, the 51st state. That's exactly what Trump hinted at multiple times during his presidency. Sure, the comments seemed flippant, like he was riffing on one of his half-baked rally ideas, but Canadians haven't found anything to laugh at. Why? Because when the world's most bombastic leader starts making jokes about erasing your sovereignty, it feels less like comedy and more like a warning shot. Trump's remarks about Canada weren't just limited to absurd offhand comments either. From insulting trade deals to stirring up tensions over NAFTA, he framed Canada less as a neighbor and more as a pushover he could boss around. Canadians, famous for their politeness, didn't exactly roll out the red carpet for this approach. It's like a brash next-door neighbor trying to drill into your wall and expand his living room when you just wanted a quiet night with your Tim Hortons coffee. But the real unease goes deeper. Canadian surveys over the years show a clear trend.
Perfectly. So that's one of the reasons King Charles is now in Canada delivering the speech from the throne. We've got video of King Charles heading down the stairs. Watch out, Donald. Here, like Australia, like the UK, and we are going to be looking towards Europe and other nations away from the United States. And because of your bizarre king fetish, Prime Minister Carney knows your psychology, your malignant narcissism. All of our Canadian supporters here, all the Maple Midas out there, they're always like, Ben, usually the Canadian view about the king is either somewhere on the spectrum of indifferent.
The more Trump opens his mouth, the less Canadians trust him. In fact, a 2023 Angus Reid poll found that his approval ratings in Canada were almost non-existent, particularly among younger Canadians. And while there's historically been debate over Canada's ties to the monarchy, the Trump era actually nudged public opinion towards viewing certain aspects of those ties, like the Queen, or now King Charles, as a refreshing alternative to the chaos Trump seemed to stand for. Not everyone took Trump's comments sitting down, though. Canadian MP Charlie Angus, known for his no-nonsense style, didn't mince words when he labeled Trump a convicted felon and sexual predator.
But because of Donald Trump, this is now being seen as actually a very positive thing, and it's sending a strong message. It just kind of exists, but it is what it is. So it would have been unfathomable to have a speech from the throne like this, frankly, without uproar about 6 to 9 months ago. Don't mess with us, United States. We are already looking elsewhere. Bye-bye. Charlie Angus, former member of parliament and my good friend, said, he's like, Prime Minister Carney went into that bizarre fake gold bordello. What the hell was that? And
a sentiment that resonated with the country's unspoken frustration. Angus's critique wasn't just an insult, it was a firm line in the sand, a collective enough is enough moment for Canadians tired of being dragged into Trump's drama. And while the public vented, Canadian leaders quietly plotted their next move, a response no one, especially Trump, could predict. Let's just say the king's arrival wasn't accidental. What's the best way to respond to Trump's loud antics? For Canada, it was rolling out the royal treatment, literally. King Charles was invited to Canada, where he did something no monarch has done in nearly 5 decades. He sat on Canada's throne and delivered a speech. If that sounds like a flashy move, it's because it was, but not in the way Trump might understand. This wasn't some random royal tour. It was a moment packed with historical weight and diplomatic precision. The last time something like this happened was back in 1977 with Queen Elizabeth II. For context, that's when bell-bottoms were a thing. So yeah, it's been a while. But let's talk about the timing. Trump had been parading his idea that Canada's sovereignty was, well, optional. While those remarks might have played well with his base, Canadians weren't laughing, and their government certainly wasn't going to brush it off. Enter King Charles. His visit came just as Trump's rhetoric started hanging in the air like an unwanted black cloud. Coincidence? Unlikely. Imagine Trump noisily playing checkers, flipping pieces off the board whenever he felt like it, while Canada quietly called in a chess grandmaster to make its next diplomatic move. Check and mate. For Canadians grappling with Trump's comments, the king's visit hit at a deeper level. Ties to the Commonwealth have always sparked debate in Canada. Some question their relevance in modern times. But in the context of Trump's aggressive posturing, those ties suddenly felt like a solid anchor. A leader like King Charles might feel about as unpredictable as a PBS special, which, for Canadians dealing with Trump-style chaos, probably sounded appealing. It wasn't just about ceremony. It was about reminding the world that Canada's values, alliances, and independence could never be bought or bulldozed. Prime Minister Mark Carney didn't miss his opportunity to make that point clear either. Canada is not for sale, he said plainly, a quiet foil to Trump's all-caps bellows. And as Charles took his seat on Canada's throne, the message was unmistakable. This wasn't just tea with the royals, this was Canada's mic drop. Canada's move wasn't just clever, it was a reminder that even small players can outmaneuver the loudest voices. By embracing history and inviting the king to deliver a speech from the throne, Canada firmly rejected Trump's posturing without sinking to his level. The message was simple: sovereignty isn't negotiable and doesn't need a megaphone. This bold but quiet stand raises an interesting question. What other nations might leverage their historical ties and diplomacy against Trump-like leaders? One thing's clear. While Trump played for shock value, Canada played for legacy. It turns out, playing it cool beats yelling into the void every time.